Welcome to this week's episode of California in Focus. I'm your host, Kenneth Schrupp, and I'm here with California editor Dave Mayston, who covers the Southwest region for the Center Square. Dave, how are you doing today?
Doing well, thanks.
So I've been reading through your recent story on how California Republican legislators are calling for a, quote, two-state solution for California to create a new state of its inland counties, including a little sliver of NorCal to the ocean. Tell me more about this proposal.
Well, this proposal came as a direct response to the Democrats' efforts to do redistricting throughout California. That all began with Texas, when President Trump asked Texas to come up with 5 more Republican seats. So the Democrats have been trying to come up with 5 more seats of their own by doing some very creative gerrymandering. I'll give you one example. I live here in Simi Valley, which is in Ventura County. Out of the new districts, my district would be part of Malibu, which is on the beach, even though I'm up in the mountains. And the nearest closest cities to us, Moore Park and Thousand Oaks, would be in a different district. So there are some very creative gerrymandering was done by the Democrats in effort to pick up those 5 seats, including taking the Northern California city of Lodi, city of 66,000 people, and splitting it into 3 different congressional districts. In addition to that, Anaheim and the Orange County area would be split so that more of that would be put into Democratic controlled districts, including districts that are predominantly Los Angeles.
Just tell me a little bit more about the existing system for redistricting California. Because this would eliminate that, would it not?
It would undo their work. So this all began back in 2008, when the voters overwhelmingly passed the Vote First Act, which set up an independent, bipartisan citizen commission made up of Republicans, Democrats, and independents. In 2010, they extended that to include Congress. And everyone, Republicans, Democrats, independents alike, have liked that because it takes it out of the hands of politicians, puts it in the hands of citizens who have created what many people have called some of the most competitive seats in the state. Everyone was happy with their work. Now, this temporary measure, which is called the Election Rigging Response Act, undoes the commission's work. So that allows the Democrats to redraw the lines, and an effort which they admit is to come up with 5 more Democratic seats to counter the 5 Republican seats that will result from the redistricting that was approved and signed by the governor of Texas. But there are many, I would say overwhelmingly, most Republicans and some Democrats are opposed to this because they like that this commission has set the gold standard for the country. They would love to see every state take this in. In fact, some Republicans in California are opposed to Texas doing the redistricting. Among them is Senator Tony Strickland, Republican from Huntington Beach, who said the Texans should not be doing this mid-decade, and California should not be doing it. Many Republicans are saying two wrongs don't make a right. We should not be doing this. And on top of that, U.S. Representative Kevin Kiley, Republican from Rockland, has a bill in Congress now that will prohibit any state in the country from doing the redistricting. But instead of supporting that effort, the Democrats have wanted to create these new district lines, and the Republicans are trying different ways to stop that. The most recent one is that they sued in the California Supreme Court. Supreme Court yesterday rejected the Republican suit that said that this redistricting was unconstitutional. And now, yesterday was a proposal came through from the Republicans presented by Assembly Minority Leader James Gallagher to create a new state, which would take all the inland counties, take a sliver, like you said, of the northern counties along the Oregon border, and goes all the way down to Riverside and Prairie counties, and would put them in a new state. And the Republicans are arguing that this is necessary because of the gerrymandering by the Democrats, and that it's necessary because they feel the concerns of their citizens have been ignored by the more populist Democratic controlled regions along the coast.
Hmm. And when you talk about the Republicans who have opposed this, key among them was also Arnold Schwarzenegger. There was some drama about that between him and the governor, wasn't there?
Yes. So Arnold Schwarzenegger, the famous movie star and Republican who was governor of the state, supported the creation of the Independent Redistricting Commission. He was all for that. He has vowed to fight this. He is one of the major leaders of the fight against redistricting, along with billionaire Charles T. Munger Jr., who has put $10 million in the effort to fight this. Newsom, Governor Gavin Newsom, the Democrat who leads the state, has met with Arnold Schwarzenegger. He tried to tell reporters that he and Arnold have more in agreement than disagreement, especially about the Trump administration. But Arnold Schwarzenegger has said that he will fight this because he believes in the independence of a Citizens Commission.
So how is this polling?
Well, interesting enough, the day after this was passed by the legislature and signed by Governor Newsom, a poll came out from UC Berkeley saying that 48% of voters supported the redistricting, 32% opposed it, and 20% have not made up their minds. That's not good news for the Democrats, because to pass, it would need more than 50%. So they're short on the support. And the big question now is if you have 1/5 of the state undecided, which way will they go? And we're going to see a lot of press conferences and speeches by both sides. Both sides are saying they're trying to save democracy. The Republicans can say you save democracy by respecting the work of the Independent Districting Commission. And the Democrats say that you save democracy by fighting fire with fire. So it's okay. Their theory is it's okay to change the rules to save us in the future. They've stressed that this measure will affect the elections going through 2030. And then after 2030, we'll go back to the work of the Independent Redistricting Commission.
Now, are there any protections that would guarantee that this wouldn't happen again, that this is just a temporary measure, or do we just have to hope that it won't?
Well, the bill says that after 2030, this will go back to the Redistricting Commission. That's part of the amendment. But then, there's always the chance that the Democrats could propose, let's keep this again. I mean, there's risk there. I think Democrats and Republicans alike are aware of the risk. Both sides admit that the Redistricting Commission has set a gold standard for the country as something that should be adopted by every state in the country. So I guess it comes down to the debate about whether it is best to stick with the rules all the time, regardless of the consequences, or whether it's okay to change rules under the fear that if you don't, that the future of democracy could be sacrificed. Both sides are very passionate about this. I was watching the floor sessions, and the tempers were going. The people on both sides are very upset about it. And I saw it at an Assembly Committee hearing where there were many voters and representatives of the unions and Democrats who were speaking in favor of the redistricting. But at the same meeting, I saw a larger number of taxpayers who were opposed to it. And you still do have some Democrats who are opposed to this effort, including members of the Redistricting Commission. So it is a big, fascinating debate on the experiment that we call democracy.
Well, Dave, thank you for your coverage of this issue. To keep up with this story and more, please visit thecentersquare.com.